After years upon years of allegations, hearings, and investigations on a whole slew of legal issues, it looks like criminal charges are now about to finally catch up with Donald Trump. Prosecutors in New York are expected to indict the former president in the next couple of weeks over hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has reportedly invited Trump to testify before a grand jury in this case, a step prosecutors are required to take before making indictments in that state, and is typically the last step before criminal charges are filed. The former president and his attorneys have not yet responded to this invitation, but legal experts across the board expect him to turn it down.
Knowing Donald as well as I do, understand that he doesn't tell the truth. It's one thing to turn around and to lie on your untruth social. It's another thing to turn around and lie before a grand jury. So I don't suspect that he's going to be coming.
So the case centers around a $130,000 payment made to Daniels in late October of 2016 to keep her quiet about an alleged affair she had with Trump a decade earlier. Trump has denied having this affair. He also denied having knowledge of the hush money payment, which his former attorney, Michael Cohen, the man we just heard from, and admitted to paying on his behalf. But Cohen, who spent 3 years in prison in part for his role in this scheme, testified that Trump directed him to pay off Daniels, and to prove it, he publicly shared one of several personal checks addressed to him and signed by Trump while he was in the White House. For Trump's part, he's taking to Truth Social to call out the Manhattan District Attorney, calling this case a witch hunt. Here's how the DA responded on MSNBC.
We follow the facts. Doesn't matter what party you are, doesn't matter your background. What did you do, and what does the law say?
All right, I'm joined now by a couple of experts on what the law says here. Ron Sullivan, a Harvard law professor and director of the Criminal Justice Institute at Harvard, and former Assistant U.S. Attorney Dan Small, now a partner at Holland and Knight. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
So I want to start with this Trump testifying. Do you all believe that he will testify in this Manhattan case?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I love both the concurrence. You're all like, no.
I echo Sully. You have to understand that Trump gave a deposition in a civil case brought by the New York AG, and he refused to answer questions based on the Fifth Amendment 400 times. So the chances that he's going to waltz into a grand jury and do anything different are non-existent. He's not coming.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. It's simply not in his interest to do it at this point. The prosecutor's office, when they've gotten to this stage, they've decided that they want to indict. They've decided that he's guilty of something, and coming in and putting testimony under oath is only going to inure to the detriment of any defendant, and for a particularly what I suspect to be hard to control client like Donald Trump, it would be a disaster for him to go under oath before a grand jury.
And Dan, we've been, we mentioned this in the setup here, years upon years of allegations here, and it seems like this is now playing out in Manhattan.
Well, it is kind of odd of all the investigations going on. The January 6th investigation, the big ripoff that the January 6th committee talked about, and the false election claims. This doesn't feel like the first, what should be the first one or the most important one, but that's not the way this works. It works, whoever has the evidence and brings the case, has the evidence and brings the case. So if this is the first one, we'll have to see where it goes.
And Ron, do you think that then, as we bring this case and as this plays out, other cases will then start moving more quickly than they have in the past?
I tend to think so, not necessarily because of this case, but I do think that the investigations are just, all of them seem to be approaching the end stage. So, the dominoes are just going to start falling one after another. I agree with Dan. We'll just have to see how this plays out. But I do suspect there will be one or two more indictments in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
And it's important to realize that the we're approaching 2024, and no prosecutor wants to indict a political candidate in an election year. They really have to make the decision within the next 7 months, or they will be much more susceptible to charges of being political.
Now, why is that? Why wouldn't you want to indict a candidate that's running for president?
Because any candidate is going to go ahead.
Yeah, it's a long-standing norm, and I think a good one and a right one among prosecutors' offices that you don't want to indict a sitting candidate. The prosecutor is supposed to be a minister of justice, beyond politics, fair, going where the facts lead them. Fairness exists in our system on two registers, both actual fairness and also the appearance of fairness. And the problem with indicting a politician during an election year is that the office would be subject to claims that they don't appear to be fair, that they're trying to put a thumb on the scale of the election. So you want actual fairness, but you also want the appearance of fairness. So prosecutors avoid indicting, even if they think they have the evidence during an election year, so as not to interfere with the democratic process.
And Dan, we have this check. We have what I imagine is Stormy Daniels' testimony, or at least a deposition. We have Michael Cohen and his conviction. I mean, what do you think the success of this case in Manhattan is going to be?
This is a tough case, both on the facts and on the law. On the law, you're looking at a rather new idea that falsifying records in support of a campaign finance or a tax violation is a crime, and that hasn't been tested that much. And on the facts, look, Michael Cohen has lied. He pled guilty to crimes. Stormy Daniels has admitted that she lied. These are not the world's greatest witnesses, and you have to wonder whether the district attorney is moving forward now because he's obtained other evidence. Now, for example, the CFO, Alan Weisselberg, of the Trump Organization is sitting in jail now and may well have decided that jail is not where he wants to be, and maybe he could free himself sooner by cooperating. So you have to wonder if there's something else going on that we don't know about yet.
Ron, what do you think about this case here?
Yeah, I agree. So on the one hand, these sorts of cases are easy for prosecutors because you have things like physical canceled checks. Right, you have evidence that it's there. It's a sort of tangible evidence, banking records that it's very hard to argue with. But here, as Dan was pointing out, what's relevant here is the intent the actor had with executing the check, or even if the actor, Donald Trump, knew that the thing was being executed. So I am sure that he'll be able to bring in a ton of evidence to say, I don't write checks. I'm a multi-billionaire. I have accountants who do that sort of stuff. I don't know what they're doing half the time. I imagine that it'll be difficult in that sense because they have to prove, one, that Trump knew about it, two, that Trump intended an illegal purpose by doing it. And that's going to be the tough part. There may be more evidence, probably is. These prosecutors tend not to indict unless they've got some pretty strong evidence. At least they think they have pretty strong evidence. So we shall see.
Dan, I have a thought about, you had mentioned that Donald Trump may not be the easiest client to deal with or to manage. Now we're talking about ramping up for a re-election campaign that seems to already be in full swing for the former president. How difficult is it as an attorney, especially as a defense attorney in this case, to try to defend, Donald Trump on the campaign trail and Donald Trump in a courtroom?
Well, as I think you know, Crystal, I've represented several governors and other high-level political figures, and that's not the right environment for being in court. They are people who are used to speaking their mind and speaking it early and often. And as you said in your lead-in, Trump is already calling the investigation a witch hunt and all this sort of thing, and would be virtually impossible to control on the witness stand. And so it's a high-risk enterprise on both sides.
Ron, how would you, I guess, I don't know if control is the word, but at least try to manage a client like that?
I think control is the right word. And I too have represented my share of politicians, and they have made a livelihood on being able to convince people about things by talking. And that skill is oftentimes not the best skill in a court of law. So I think what you have to do is convince them to trust you. That's number one. If the client trusts you, then you're able to say to the client, these are the things that we have to do if you want a chance at an acquittal. If you don't do these things, in my 25 years experience in trying cases, you will be convicted and go to jail. We call that a come to Jesus speech. And oftentimes a client will pull the line and say, this is what I need to do. But the start of it is trust. That might sound a little hokey, but you really have to earn the client's trust. If you do that, then you've got the best chance of controlling or managing, whichever verb you want to use, the client.
Dan, I'm thoughtful about, as this case plays out, will attorneys on the January 6th committee be watching this very closely, and what will they be watching it for?
Well, they're watching for that. They will be watching it, of course, although those are different cases. But they're watching it for what Trump is going to say, what he's going to talk about. And also, as I said before, who else is out there that might be able to provide testimony? If the CFO, a lot of speculation about whether the CFO is talking. If he's talking, that could have a lot of implications and implications for the larger case about valuations, implications for the campaign denial case, and also implications. Remember, Trump raised $250 million right after the election based on send me money so we can undo this terrible thing that they've done, and then never use that money to undo anything. So there's a wire fraud case or some kind of a fraud case there that I'm sure the special counsel is looking at. So everyone's looking to see what else is out there and what shoe is going to drop next.
Ron, your thoughts here in the last minute or so.
So just to pick up on where you left off, that's actually the case I thought would be indicted first, the special counsel case. He's been moving at breakneck speed. So I really expected an indictment to come there first. But I think that is going to be the next shoe that drops. Once again, he has subpoenaed almost everybody you can think of. So they are nearing the end of that investigation as well. And I think that's the tougher one for Mr. Trump.
All right, well, gentlemen, we will be watching, as I'm sure you will be as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you, Dan.
You too, Sully.